What will you be for Halloween? What will you be for Halloween? A venomous vampire in a cloak of black, sharp teeth, widow's peak, hold the garlic please. A hairy werewolf, to be wary of, howling, snarling, drooling, with claws and paws, elongated schnoz. A mad scientist monster, with shoulders hunched, big and bulky, and often sulky, a mean green sleepwalking machine. A ghostly ghost, white and creepy, mysterious and sneaky. Actually, there's not much to it. You can see right through it. A plundering pirate in buckles and boots, eye patch and hook for that genuine look, sailing the high seas for jewels and gems and whatever she sees. A riveted robot with circuits and blips and computer chips. 01100101 is trick or treat in computer lingo, in case you didn't know. A scary skeleton, femurs, funny bones and ribs, thin and shaky, frail and lanky, a frightful sight in black and white. A menacing Martian with green googly-eyed antenna, a strange shiny space invader who beamed down to say hello from his meteor-powered UFO. A courageous cowgirl in spurs and chaps and a 10-gallon hat. This outlaw can rope a snack in 3 seconds flat. A mysterious mummy, groaning and moaning, bandaged from head to toe. What he really looks like, only his mummy knows. A warty witch with broom and pointed hat, curly toes, striped toes, all in black, even her cat. Now that you have chosen what you will be, it's time to go. It's time to meet all the others and trick or treat, the best Halloween of all. My family has a photo album with pictures of me and my big brother in every one of our Halloween costumes. For my first Halloween, I was a clown. In that picture, I'm trying to yank the pointy clown hat off my head. I don't look very happy, I said one day when we were looking at the pictures. Oh, it was a wonderful Halloween, my mom said. We showed you off to your grandma. Gran gave me $1 and 3 candy apples, said my brother Michael. What did I get? I asked. You got a hug, said Mom. Did I have fun? You cried most of the ride home, Michael told me. Then you fell asleep and drooled all over your costume. When I was 2 years old, Michael was a magician, and I was his rabbit for Halloween. Mom sewed Michael an awesome black cape. She made me a scratchy white rabbit suit. At every house, my brother waved his magic wand over a top hat my dad made. I was supposed to jump up from behind it. You never did, said Michael. Maybe I didn't feel like jumping that day, I said. When I was 3 years old, My mom decided my brother and I should be an angel and a devil for Halloween. Since Michael is older, he got to choose which one he wanted to be. Guess who had to dress up in a gown and wear a coat hanger halo and dumb cardboard wings? When I was 4 years old, Michael was a mouse and I was a wedge of Swiss cheese for Halloween. Dad made my costume out of wood. The problem was, your costume weighed so much you couldn't walk up anyone's steps, said Michael, laughing. The problem was, I said, Dad told you to ask for candy for me, and at 3 houses you forgot. When I was 5 years old, I was a robot for Halloween, and Michael was the scientist who created me. Dad made my costume out of a cardboard box that he painted silver. He brought switches and dials and control knobs from work and glued them all over the box. I worked on that costume every night for 2 weeks, said Dad, but it was worth it. At every house, my brother was supposed to push one of my buttons, and I was supposed to say trick or treat in a robot voice. I remember that the box was so hot inside, I had to take it off and carry it after 2 houses, I said. You ruined all the fun, said Michael. When I was 6 years old, Mom decided I would be a bunch of grapes for Halloween and spend a week sewing the costume. That was the best Halloween costume in the history of the world, Mom said. Mom was wrong. It was the worst costume she ever came up with. At my classroom party, Claire, Sarah, and Catherine asked me what I was supposed to be. Calvin looked at me funny. Max said, "You belong inside Fruit of the Loom underwear." I couldn't sit down all afternoon because of the grapes sewed to my behind. The photo album had no more Halloween pictures after that because my 7th Halloween was still a month away. As soon as we closed the album, I started to worry about what my parents might be dreaming up. Finally, I decided I had to do something. I walked into the family room one night and announced, "This year I want to make my own costume." Mom said, "But Ben, honey, we always help you with your costume." "I know," I said, "but I think I can do it myself. Is that okay?" "Sure," Mom said and gave me a hug. This Halloween, I was an intergalactic space starship Robotron, armed with a laser pulverizer beam rod. I made the costume out of a grocery bag and some paper towel rolls. It was the best Halloween of all. Dora's costume party. Hola, I'm Dora. Today is Halloween. My favorite thing about Halloween is getting dressed up in a costume. We're having a Halloween costume party at my house, and everyone is getting ready. But Boots can't decide what costume to wear. Boots might want to dress up as a superhero who rescues anyone who needs help. Or he could be a baseball player who can hit the ball over the fence and win the game. Or maybe he'll be a clown who does tricks in the circus. Boots can't decide, and it's almost time for the party. Look, there's Tico. Do you know what Tico wants to be for Halloween? Yeah, a cowboy. Tico is pretending that he's a cowboy who rides a horse through the desert. Wow, what a great costume! But Tico is missing part of his costume. Let's help him look in the costume box. Do you see a cowboy hat? Now we just need to find a star badge. Great! Tico's costume is finished. We'll see Tico at the party. Benny's still working on his costume too. What do you think Benny wants to be for Halloween? See, a slice of pizza. That's a really yummy costume idea. Benny's favorite kind of pizza has pepperoni, peppers, and cheese on it. But he needs help to put these ingredients on his pizza costume. Will you help? Benny can use red circles for pepperoni. Let's look for 5 red circles. The green squares look like peppers. Will you find 4 green squares for him? And the yellow rectangles can be cheese. Do you see 8 yellow rectangles? Excelente! Thanks for helping Benny get his costume ready. Guess what Isa wants to be for Halloween? Isa's going to be the most graceful ballerina ever. She'll use her ballet slippers to stand on her tiptoes, twirl around, and jump in the air. But where are her ballet slippers? Do you see them? There's my cousin Diego. He's going to dress up like a deep-sea diver. A deep-sea diver explores the ocean, looking at fish and animals. Diego already has on his special diving suit, but he still needs to find his slippers and swimming mask. Do you see them? Seeing all these great costumes gave Boots an idea for his Halloween costume. But it's a surprise. Boots promises that we'll see his Halloween costume at the party. Vámonos! We're almost at my house. Look, my baby sister and brother are dressed in their costumes. Can you guess what my baby sister is for Halloween? Sí, una fresa. Strawberries are her favorite fruit. It's a pattern. Do you see where the red petal belongs? Where does the orange petal go? Let's decorate mi casa. First, Papi needs help with the cake. Will you find 2 triangles for the pumpkin's eyes? Gracias. Abuela needs help finding the balloons. Do you see 5 orange balloons? Let's count them in Spanish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's help Mommy look for 10 apples to go inside the 10 goodie bags. Oh, I think I hear someone at the door. The guests are here. There's Isa, the graceful ballerina. Tico, the cowboy, is riding his trusty horse. Benny's pizza costume looks delicious. And Diego really looks like a deep-sea diver. But I don't see Boots. I wonder where he is. Here he is. What is Boots' Halloween costume? Oh, Boots couldn't decide on just one thing for his Halloween costume, so he decided to wear all of his favorite costumes. He's a superhero baseball player clown. What a cool costume. Everyone has such a great Halloween costumes. Thanks for helping us get ready for the party. We did it! Happy Halloween! Halloween, be yourself party. Everyone gathered around Reginald Ram's car. Reginald had decided to move to the mountains. Goodbye, friends, said Reginald. Goodbye, said Herbert Hare. Are you sure you really want to leave the forest? We'll miss you, said Sandra Squirrel. The forest won't be the same without you, Riley Raccoon said with a sniff and a tear in his eye. Oh, Reginald, said Terry Turtle, we hope you'll like your new home in the mountains. You guys are the best, said Reginald. Well, I have to go. Bye. He started his car, vroom, and drove off. Everyone waved goodbye to Reginald Ram. Life went on in the forest for a few weeks without Reginald Ram. Everyone missed him though. Soon the forest. Animals became busy. They were preparing for the annual Halloween party. It would soon be here. Herbert Hare had never won the costume contest at the Halloween party. This year would be different. Well, thought Herbert, let's see. I have thread, needles, cloth, scissors, feathers, buttons, cotton, everything I need for a Halloween costume. The only thing I don't have is an idea of what I will be for the Halloween party. He thought for a while. I know, said Herbert. I'll go as one of my friends. I think I'll dress up like Riley Raccoon. So Herbert traced a pattern on a fake fur material. He cut it out. Now I will need to paint black stripes on the fur, said Herbert. He took his brush and dipped it in the black paint can. He stroked the brush across the fur. Stroke, brush, whoosh. He painted stripes everywhere on the fur. He dipped his brush into the paint can for the 100th time. Clank, clank, clank. What is this? Asked Herbert. The paint can is empty. I'm out of black paint. Herbert walked to the store. Sorry, Herbert, said Frederick Fox, the storekeeper. We're out of black paint and the next batch won't come in until after Halloween. Oh no, said Herbert. That will be too late. I guess I will have to think of another costume. I know, thought Herbert on the way home from the store. I'll go to the Halloween party as Terry Turtle. So as soon as Herbert got home, he took strips of newspaper and dipped them into a bowl of watered-down glue. Placing the strips on a wire frame, Herbert exclaimed, "Whoa! This is going to make a great shell for my turtle costume." Herbert placed a wet papier-mâché shell outside his door so it would dry. The next morning, he picked up his paintbrush and a can of green paint and walked out the door. At least I have plenty of green paint, said Herbert. As he began painting the dry shell, Herbert heard a noise from inside. Out popped a mouse. What is all that noise? Asked the mouse. I'm painting my costume, said Herbert. What are you doing in my turtle shell? Your costume, said the mouse. My family and I are looking for a house to live in for the winter. This shell is perfect. We didn't know. Out of the shell popped several baby mice. Herbert walked back into his house with a frown on his face. I can't kick the baby. Mice out of their new home, he thought. Now I have to think of a new costume idea. He thought for a long time. I got it, he said. I'll go to the Halloween party as Sandra Squirrel. Once again he traced a pattern. This time he traced it on reddish-brown material that looked like Sandra Squirrel's fur. He sewed the arms and legs on. He made a big bushy tail, just like Sandra's. Soon the costume was complete. I'm going to look just like Sandra Squirrel, said Herbert as he put on his new costume. He looked in the mirror. This is great, he thought. I do look just like. Wait a minute. Herbert felt an itch. Then he felt another, and another. Soon his whole body itched. This costume is making me itch. He scratched, but the itching only got worse. I have to take this costume off, or I'll itch until I go crazy, said Herbert. Herbert felt sad. Every costume I've made has failed, he said. I'm running out of ideas. Suddenly, Herbert had the best idea ever. I'll dress up like Reginald Ram, he said. I'll pretend to be him. Everyone will think he moved back. So Herbert got all his materials together and began making a Reginald Ram costume. He worked on the costume for hours. Soon Herbert completed his work. It looks great, said Herbert. I didn't run out of paint, no mice are moving into it, and it doesn't itch. Herbert practiced talking like Reginald Ram. Bah! Hello, everyone. Bah! Said Herbert, looking in the mirror. Herbert practiced and practiced. Soon he sounded just like Reginald. Now, said Herbert, I'm ready for the party. Soon the day of the Halloween party came. Herbert put on his Reginald Ram costume and marched down the street. Reginald, said someone. Herbert knew they were talking to him. He turned around. It was Frederick Fox looking out the door of his store. I didn't know you were back in town, said Frederick. Good to see you. Bah, said Herbert in his best Reginald voice, and he waved at Frederick Fox. Soon Herbert came to Riley Raccoon's house. Riley hosted the Halloween party for that year. Herbert walked into Riley's house. Herbert saw Riley Raccoon, Terry Turtle, and Sandra Squirrel, but not wearing any costumes. Look, everybody, said Riley Raccoon, it's Reginald Ram. I'm glad you got your invitation. He's back, said Terry Turtle. Bah, said Herbert. I am visiting town to attend the annual Halloween party. We're so happy to see you, Reginald, Sandra Squirrel said. But Herbert could not keep it to himself any longer. Ha ha, I fooled you, he said. It's me, Herbert Hare. Herbert yanked off his mask. Everyone gasped. Whoa, said Riley. We thought you were really Reginald. What a great costume. Thanks, said Herbert. But I have a question. Why didn't you guys wear your costumes? Suddenly, everyone began to laugh. Why is everyone laughing? Asked Herbert. That made everyone laugh even harder. Riley Raccoon laughed so hard that he began rolling on the floor. Suddenly, his head rolled off. It wasn't really Riley Raccoon, it was Sandra Squirrel. We are wearing costumes, Herbert, said Sandra Squirrel. I'm dressed as Riley Raccoon. But I thought that was Sandra Squirrel, said Herbert, pointing to who he thought was Sandra Squirrel. No, it's me, said Terry Turtle, taking off her Sandra mask. I'm dressed like Sandra. And I'm really Riley Raccoon, said the other Terry Turtle, who was really Riley Raccoon. Herbert laughed. He was so confused. He didn't know who was who. So let me get this straight, said Herbert. Riley Raccoon is dressed as Terry Turtle. Terry Turtle is dressed as Sandra Squirrel. Sandra Squirrel is dressed as Riley Raccoon. And I am dressed as Reginald Ram. That's right, said Riley Raccoon, dressed as Terry Turtle. Now that we have everyone straightened out, let's play games. Yay, said everyone, and they put on their masks again. They played Pin the Tail on the Donkey. They also played Simon Says. Then they took turns trying to knock down a piñata. All night long, Herbert forgot who was who. Would you like some punch, Terry? Sandra? Riley? Just when Herbert thought he had it right, he saw himself, Herbert Hare, walk into the room. Everyone turned around and looked. I feel dizzy, said Herbert, looking at himself standing there. Now, if this is Herbert, said Terry Turtle, dressed as Sandra Squirrel, as she pointed at Herbert Hare dressed as Reginald Ram, then who are you? Then she pointed at whoever it was dressed as Herbert Hare. The impostor dressed as Herbert Hare removed his mask. Everyone gasped. It's Reginald Ram. Bah, said Reginald. I got my invitation. Well, said Herbert Hare, dressed as Reginald Ram, we're glad you could visit to attend a Halloween party. Oh, I'm not just visiting, said Reginald Ram, dressed as Herbert Hare. I've decided to move back. I miss you guys too much. Everyone cheered. Welcome back, said Sandra Squirrel, hugging Reginald. Thanks, Sandra, Reginald said. I'm not Sandra, I'm Terry Turtle. And soon everyone had to take off their masks and show Reginald who they really were. Herbert Hare felt more confused than ever. It got even worse when they decided to play a new game they made up on the spot. They called it Who Am I? Everyone switched masks and took turns guessing who was who. They all laughed and had fun playing more games. They ate cookies and ice cream and drank orange punch. What a great party, everyone said as they walked home. Herbert Hare couldn't remember when he had more fun. I think when I get home, he told his friends, I'm just going to be myself.